just following from that night, am I right in thinking that most of you, just show of hands, who was there that day or have seen us before? Who's seen us before? Okay, all right.
Who hasn't?
Good.
We have, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to, well, I'll do my best, I'll keep it short, within 6 minutes. Zaytoun is, we're an aspiring project and we're still growing and we're still young in lots of ways, but we, in some ways we're quite known to punch above our weight in lots of ways. We have a quite big media presence and we've grown it ourselves with no budget at all. We started just as volunteers, we're still volunteers, most of us. We started the project just on a field trip, exploring Palestine, just to have a look at it, the situation. I went with a trade union delegation just to see for myself what the situation was there. I sort of left that delegation, decided to explore on my own a bit, came back, discovered some amazing things about olive oil and farming communities that are tied to this wonderful tree. Has anyone here been to Palestine? Okay.
Been to the West Bank, but it was still
okay.
the West Bank.
I mean, some of the pictures you'll see, but the West Bank, olive oil to Palestinians is as important as coffee to Brazilians. You know, it's a vital bloodline. We can see it as a nice product, but Palestinians have been selling olive oil for a very, very long time. Losing their olive trees, people often refer it to losing children. You know, it's a heritage story for them. I'm really proud of Zaytoun, of what we do. We've been very fortunate to be taught by some of the greatest teachers in the world on what they do. In a nutshell, we started this with a vision to be able to create a marketplace for farmers, to be able to bring a story and to bring a product like olive oil and to tell the story of farmers and everyday people who farm on their land just like farmers anywhere else in the world. And to tell a story based on dignity and hope that they'd be able to trade just like any other farmer anywhere else in the world. We started in a room of just 13 farmers. In fact, 7 of them walked out of the room because they didn't believe this was possible. What we were talking about was trying to bypass the wall which was being built, and we were talking about being able to bypass some of the restrictions that the occupation puts on them every day. And we were going to what we were talking about was something that had never been done before, selling olive oil internationally and to build Palestine and its heritage story as a home of olive oil. Every day I get people saying, you know, Palestinians, you know, when did they start selling olive oil? About 3,000 years ago. Yeah. And it's always been that case. How did Tiffin, since, as Fred pointed out earlier, we met with Tiffin in 2009, and you know, it was an exciting night for us. A little bit scary, but it was exciting. By holding that night and the support that we got from yourselves, we were able to bring farmers over from the West Bank, which we needed for them to be able to tell their story. We'd been saying it for a while through themselves and the bottles, and as we always say, you know, behind every bottle there's a family and a community. But it's good me saying that, it's great Heather saying that, but it's much more important to hear it from the farmers themselves. So Tiffin's support allowed us to be able to bring those farmers to tell their story and to be able to support the reality of what they have to go through every day in order to be able to harvest. I'm delighted to tell you that we got the Fair Trade mark as a result of that tour, and it's the world's first Fair Trade olive oil anywhere in the world. It's the first Fair Trade olives anywhere in the world, and it's certified. This is a great journey, and you guys have been part of that. Where we're at now is, we think that it can be replicated, and that's what we want to do. There are more projects in Palestine that need support. We've proved that, and it's not easy, it's still not easy every day with the olive oil, but we've proved there's a market for it. We've sold 190 tonnes of the oil. That's a lot of olive oil for a group, well, 3 volunteers, you know. But we're not 3 volunteers, we're 20 co-ops, we're 6,000 families, we're 25 villages. It's all of those things. And so we want to keep doing that. What we're here today is to say that there's an opportunity to us to be able to provide for women's cooperatives. They're doing amazing projects. The women are running, they represent heads of households. Their income and the income that they generate themselves throughout this adversity goes directly into the homes, it goes into, well, right into the children. And I was talking about this earlier, I think, with Alice, but when an olive tree is destroyed and 2 2 million olive trees were destroyed. It takes away people's existence, their livelihood. Some villages lost 80% of their olive trees. Some of these are Byzantine villages. So the women, they grow seeds and things like that, za'atar, you've been tasting it today, herbs and couscous and sun-dried tomatoes. There's a market for these things, just like there's a market for olive oil. There's also a market for all these things, and that's what we're building on. We're trying to show that there is a real chance to make social impact changes, and these can be made on the basis of dignity. And I can't really say much more than that. I think it's vital. And that's what we really want your support on, is to be able to continue. The olive oil will continue growing, that we're sure of. It's not easy, but we've diversified. It's been that popular. And these are the things they have, these dates, incredible dates, and za'atar, and olives. And the women's co-ops, they're growing more and more, and they're representing themselves in those households. And we want to increase their opportunities for market accessibility, and we need your help to do that.